Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a video that's only going to get about 100 views. So what we are going to do is we are going to make a custom mount for the amplifier that I plan on installing in the Foxbody. So let's talk about this amplifier and let's talk about the custom mount that we're going to be installing, because it's going to get crazy and it's going to be cool. This is Audio Control ACM 300. Audio Control ACM 300. This is one of the Ferraris for the mini amps. What is a mini amp, you guys are asking? Well, a mini amp is an amplifier that is a little bit bigger than your cell phone. So the cool thing about this is these mini amps pack a punch, and they're really potent, but they don't take up much space. And the other cool thing about mini amps is the power that they send out. Most factory speaker wires can handle it, so you don't have to run all new speaker wires. This is great because I always get the question asked, I want to amplify my speakers, but I don't want to run new wires. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that in another video. This video is focusing on making a custom mount for this bad little puppy. So this bad little puppy powers up 4 channels. Now you guys are asking, well, what's a channel? So a channel is speaker 1, that's 1 channel. Speaker 2, 2 channels. Speaker 3, 3 channels. And speaker 4, 4 channels. And if we had a subwoofer, that would be speaker 5. That would be a 5-channel amp. Now, I know what you guys are also thinking. Well, what about these speakers up here? Well, these speakers up here are going to be my new tweeters. I'm not going to use those as speakers, but if I wanted to use those as speakers, I would need even more channels. I would need a 6-channel amp just for the car, and then a separate amp for the subwoofer. I didn't want to do that. I got component speakers for the front, and I'm just going to run a whole new wire up there, make a custom plate for the tweeter, and it will work out perfectly. And now the location, the $1,000,000 question: where am I going to put this? So I could have been generic. I could have put it underneath the seat of the driver. Everyone does that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make my life as complicated as humanly possible, and I decided I'm going to put it right there. I saw that spot and I was like, man, that's a lot of wasted spot there. Nobody ever comes back here. So this little spot is going to be my new amplifier spot. It's going to go right there. Exactly like that. See how far back it is? So I know what you guys are thinking. Well, it's not staying there. Well, that's because this antenna's in the way. But once I get that antenna out of the way, look at that. It stays there. It's not in my footwell area. My feet will never touch it. The passenger's feet will never touch it. Yes, to do the tuning and all of that, I'm going to have to take all of this out to tune it. But I'm going to tune it all, put everything in, put the car back together so everything is done professionally. I need to make a custom rack. So to make a custom rack, I'm going to have to take a piece of cardboard and draw out a template of the letter T, because that's what pretty much I'm going to need is the letter T. And then screw this on to my material. Now, to make a custom rack, I recommend you guys use ABS. Yes, you could use wood, but it's going to break down over time and it's going to be bad. So this is ABS. This is 1/8 inch thick ABS. This is the good stuff. This is going to set you back, like $20. And this is a big sheet. So I'll be able to get a couple of cuts from this, and all I realistically need is less than a third of this sheet. So with the piece of cardboard, I'll overlay this, and then I'll take it to a router table that I have, and I will router out a nice looking stand. And this nice looking stand will go right over there. The amplifier will sit on it, and then if I ever wanted to, I could just lift it up, pull the whole amplifier out with the stand, because once this thing gets screwed in, it's going to be screwed in, but it'll be held in place with those bolts for that radio. So it'll all work out, trust me. Alright, so I got my piece of cardboard right here. The person that trained me in the dark arts of car stereo told me the only way you'll be successful in this industry is if you are creative and you know how to MacGyver things. Well, turns out I never ended up doing car stereo, but I learned a lot from him. A lot. And the best and the most successful YouTubers that are in the car auto world are very, very creative. Doug Menard, one of my favorite YouTubers with his channel, he is, my God, that guy is super talented. Super talented. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this in position. Now you can see where we are. And we're gonna kind of line it up. We want to make sure we're somewhat straight on both sides, even though we're not gonna end up using the full width of this thing. And then we're gonna press down, and it should push through where those nuts are. Ah, there we go, we got one. There we go, we got two. So that's where we are, right there. Wow, we're really not going to use much of the template at all. Looks like I may be able to get away with a lot less than I thought. So now that we have this in position, we can lift up. You kind of want to mark which way is the back. You know which way you're working. And then we're going to take this over to the bench. We're going to put the amplifier on this, and knowing where our stop distances are, like that. That foot vent. Going to kind of want to trace around that way you know can't pass this point. And then this vent over here, just trace right there. Can't stop. And I think we'll be good. Alright, so now we're at the bench. Guys, sunscreen makes a hell of a difference in your future. There's my free advice for my 100 viewers. So we have our connection points. This is where the whole thing's going to be connecting to the whole mount. So as you guys can imagine, we're going to have to, we have a choice. We can either make a T shape to limit the amount of space, kind of like a paddle, or we can make like a fan shape and fan it out like a concave in this direction. Obviously the concave is going to have a lot more support, but at the same time I don't anticipate a lot of pressure being added to this. I don't think any pressure is going to be there. So what we should do is just draw a line right here close to there, and then come down like this. So come down to right about there, swing out, and then make a straight line up here. And the same thing over on this side, straight down like this, leave some space, come back around this way, and then we'll hook up right there. So that's what we're looking at. That's going to be our template right there. That's not really that difficult to cut out. I maybe even cut that out in a jigsaw. But these corners I want rounded. I want rounded those corners. I don't want to be able to get poked by nothing. So we'll round those corners a little bit on the router. And then this will work out great. This thing will just drop right on in. Of course I'm going to drill out spaces here. I'll take the measurements and I'll drill them out exactly where they need to go. But that's what we're looking at, guys. It's not that hard to fabricate your own stuff. And believe it or not, this is not the only thing I have to fabricate for this car. Turns out that if you want to restore something back to factory, everybody either wants a stupid amount of money for something stupid, or they don't have the pieces anymore. Since everybody decided, oh, I want a double-din radio in my Foxbody. Oh, I shift and I never have time to look down, but I want a double-din radio because I'm a boomer and I want to try and be hip with everybody. Jesus Christ, boomers. Stop ruining my life. So what I have to do here, the original Foxbody radio had a tab that came up and holded, they call this a coin slot. They held this coin slot up. Well, I had to go to Home Depot, had to pick up inch by inch by inch aluminum, and what we're going to do is we're going to get it in like that, and look at that. we're just going to go ahead and we're going to use an epoxy adhesive to get this thing on there, and we're going to use some sheet metal drills to go in, use a couple of fasteners to make it washers to set the angle correctly, and just like that, I have the part on the cheap. And what I mean on the cheap is this radio right here only set me back about 95 bucks. Yes, I had to clean it up a bit, but did a pretty good job. I think I did a decent job. Came out great. And the good thing is this radio was used for the Rangers, for the F-150s, for everything. So there's plenty of these out there. There's lots of them out there actually. But as more and more boomers come along and they keep ripping these out of their cars because they're old folks trying to be young again, these are going to get hard to come by, guys. Really hard to come by. And you're going to want a cassette player to play with every once in a while. Never know. And then obviously this is actually now big enough to fit a phone in. My phone actually fits in this, surprisingly. But that's that. But that's a different fabrication day that I'll do off camera. I won't do that on camera. I got alcohol. So let's go back over there. I'm going to cut that up and then router it out and then get it in position. We'll see what we're at. And there you go, guys. Just like that. A little bit of patience, a little bit of creativity, and ta-da! There it is. That's the amp rack mount, whatever you guys want to call it. I'm going to call it Sir Sticky Bottom. Sir Sticky Bottom is going to stay right here. And now I'm going to take this Sharpie, and Sharpie, if you are one of the 100 people watching this video, I like your pens a lot. And I'm going to mark where the spots where this thing needs to get drilled in. Then I'm going to drill it in. Gonna take a grinder and grind off the back of the drills so nothing's coming through, and this will officially be on there. So now all we have to do is get in the bracket that goes here. It's actually going to be the carpet first, then this, then the bracket, and it will look super nice and super clean. I think this is going to be awesome. Now that we're done with this, we can go to phase 2. Phase 2 is going to be getting our power, our ground, and connecting our factory speaker cables to this amplifier and running the new signal to the factory speakers. So if that is a video you guys don't want to miss, stay tuned for next time on Dragon Ball Z, where Goku will never achieve Super Saiyan status, and this project will hopefully, finally, eventually get done. That would be nice. Then I can light the car on fire. Alright. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is the type of content you like, please remember to subscribe to the channel and click like. This is going to be a very specific build, and I hope, if anything, the only thing that you guys learned from this build is to think outside the box. Use some of your own imagination and some of your own creativity, and you never know what you'll be able to come up with. Sometimes the best things in life come out of creativity.